Well, here we are, final part of our of the video video. Here's part 5. I thought it would be fitting for the final part to put our system to the test and see what it really can do. Now, I know that synthetic benchmarks mean nothing against real-world tests, but since we are, well, I was sort of creating a high-end 90s gaming machine without even knowing it. In the mind frame of 95, 6, 7, let's put, and 98, let's put this to the test and see what kind of scores we get. So I have WinBench 97 here, and it will install. We'll go through the installation while I try to position the camera. Okay, that's good. I don't think they have tripods for phone cameras, as I said before. One slight problem I have noticed with wireless is that sometimes you lose connection with the dongle because of the distance. If you put too much distance in between you, or too much metal, or if the surface is not conducive for the reflection of the laser. So, like right now, this is sort of wigging out, but if I put it on the faux wood, the mouse works fine. So this is the installation wizard. Click next. And we are going to pause, and I'll change the directory. We're back, and I changed the directory to something a little bit better, 3D WinBench 97. And those with a keen eye will notice that little logo. That is the ZD logo from ZDNet. In, well, early to late 90s, they created their own benchmarking suite of software to test their computers and hardware that they got to review. As I stick my hand in front of the camera. Next, we'll go and putter along and install. Something got messed up with this. Okay, so when it's on a black background, having the brightness all the way up is not useful. Go back to brightness. No, I don't want to mess with contrast. Turn it all the way up. Bring this guy over. Put this at 100. Okay. Now we are finished. Here's the README. We'll just go over and run it. The first test our floppy drive. Okay. Well, nothing ever goes right with old hardware. I'll do a check dist, all this fun little stand dist. Okay, take two. I guess the floppy diskette caused it to crash or something. Or my hardware's just getting old and it's finicky. Let's try again. So it's reading from it. There's nothing in it, but it's running the drive. It's okay. Okay, read it. Let's see. Let's run all the tests. So now I'm gonna go and look at our system. Everything seems to check out. The only warning is that there's a lot of stuff running, but I'm not gonna close it. Yeah, DirectX, all that fun stuff. Now it's gonna test triangles. It's gonna do system configuration errors, meaning if there's something wrongly configured, it'll tell us how to configure it to get the best performance. Fog vertex. This will be fun. Okay, well ours was a good finish. Let's see what happens. Let's see, lets you verify the hardware correctly implements specular highlights. Okay. Yep, we saw what it wanted us to see. Color key, transparency. Seemed okay. That looked okay also. Sorry I'm not talking that much, I'm just sort of tired. And this is the end of it. This is the last section of this saga, and getting this computer set up was sort of exhausting. Yes. Linear texture mapping. So that's what the system saw. Yeah. No. Mip-map linear. Okay, that's what the system was. That's the good one. That's the bad one. Dithering, okay. That's exactly what we saw. Yep, it does dithering correctly. Okay, perspective correction. This will be interesting. Okay, the system did that. Well, this is pretty much matched. So it's good. A fog vertex and color key. Yeah, look good. If you can see down there, we have done 11 out of 40 tests. Fog vertex and alpha. Okay, that's what the system saw. So it's a good one, that's a bad one, so it passed. Whoa. I don't know if you can read that, but it says front buffer only, expect flashing. So it's only loading the front graphics buffer, so it's peaking what graphics memory it has. So that's why it's flashing, to my knowledge. That it has to dump the buffer so quickly that it's basically redrawing the picture faster than the refresh. If old tech interests you, I mean, if you're watching this, it probably does. Like, what do you want me to talk about? Like, tech-wise? Do you want me to do more of this, or do you want me to do OS installations, or unboxings, ramblings, tutorials on older or newer hardware? I'm just sort of looking for suggestions. Some interesting information. When this system was built, new, that is, because it was built in like 97, 98, like early 97, I think. Don't quote me on that. This build cost $1,200. So this is like a top-of-the-line gaming computer. Or at least desktop, that is. I don't even know if the people that owned it... Well, this is my, I think, grandma's or aunt's computer. It was in my family, so I don't think whoever owned it really did gaming. I'm not exactly sure what they're testing now with this. I think it's just looping the tests to see what causes it to crash. If it will crash. So when there's less to draw on screen, it runs really fast. But then when it goes back to displaying a lot, it slows down. Next time it changes scenes, I'll see how many tests it has to run, because it said 40, but I don't know if it's going to be like 37 of these, or how many more are left, or if it's going to have more testing ones. Because I think the first several were just configuring, and then I was going to go and loop a bunch of stuff. Yeah, 21 of 40. But I mean, when you think about it, this is a synthetic benchmark. It doesn't really tell the performance that you get while running programs. This is just to push the hardware to the fastest, push the hardware as hard as it can. Just because, like with U-Engine Heaven Bench, or whatever it's called, just because your computer can run that benchmark at 35 frames per second doesn't mean your gaming will be at 35 frames per second. And I mean, that is if you're running the benchmark on high or ultra. If you can run it at high 40 frames per second, then you have a fairly robust system. Synthetic benchmarks mean nothing. They're meant to push your hardware as hard as it can, because it throws everything at it. Tessellation, reflective surfaces, anti-aliasing, everything. No game is going to use 70 times tessellation with 60 times anti-aliasing, even if you're running at 4K. Why it's running in 16 color, I don't know. I think it's just testing the screen resolutions. Yeah, 640, 480, 16. No, I don't know what it's doing now because it's still on 640 by 480. Maybe it does it twice. Or it ups the anti-aliasing. That could be it. But yeah. When I was building this system, well, not building, when I was restoring and rebuilding this system from the parts I had, I was worried, 8-bit, okay, that's interesting. I was worried that the card that I put in it would not be enough oomph for the games I would be playing and software. But looking at comparable cards at the time, unless you were building a CAD station, computer-assisted drawing, you weren't really going to get anywhere higher than 16 megabytes, because 2, 4, and 8 megabyte cards were pretty much standard, because in the early and middle 90s, hardware acceleration was the big thing. Developers were just trying to figure out how to get their games hardware accelerated, let alone be able to utilize all the video memory. So, a 16 megabyte card was highly expensive back then, because most Voodoos, like a Voodoo 1, had, I want to say, 4 megabyte, 8 megabyte, and 16 if you were really fancy. Then the Voodoo 2 had 16 and 32, Voodoo 3 had 16, 32, 64, and 128, and then I think the 4 had 64, 128, 256, then the 5 had 64, 128, 256, and 512. But for its time, this card, the HA Ridge Pro 128 4XL, with 16 megabytes of video RAM, was hot stuff. See, 3 triangles. Okay, that's why. They are assembled triangles in the shape of a sphere. So as they are rotating, the sphere rotates, and that's how it's testing the drawing capabilities of the screen. It's reloading the test so quickly that I don't get to see which one it's on. I'm fairly certain it's close to finishing. I hope. I didn't check the time, but I think it's almost like 1 a.m. or midnight. Let's see what time it is. Oh, 12:29. Come on. Focus. And yeah, that's a Nokia Lumia, if you caught that. There will be a video, as I drop the manual, there will be a video on this soon, unboxing and review. I just need to use it a little bit more so I can have more notes. I was going to go and get the manual, but I'll get it later. That's why I paused the video. Basically what it's doing is just upping the density. I'm going to come back when the test is all finished. No one really wants to sit here for 30 minutes and stare at the same redrawing test. Okay, it finished. And we stored 241 out of 200. Let's scroll down. Huh. So we stored on average... some of them we stored over 30 frames, some we stored under. Top one we got 56 frames, 34, 14, 41, 32, 13, 14, 13. 34, 14, 41, 32, 13, 14, 13, 14. Again. And we pretty much stored the highest in this test. The highest in this test, highest, highest, highest. Strangely, when I went to 640 by 480 by 16, it dropped a little bit. If I'm going too fast, you could just pause the video and look at it. Huh. So, on this one it dropped. It's like, where's this? Focus, tap. Okay. 226 frames. Flat 1000 pixel. Then the 50 pixel it dropped. 1000 it went up, 50 it dropped. Your guess is as good as mine. There we go. Let's see what else we have. And the mouse fell asleep. So yeah, this is just, whatever. Okay. Cancel, exit. Yeah, no, I don't want to. I just want to exit. Let me leave. Okay, so, oh wow, it's a lot later than I thought. 12:36. Well, this has been Zesty Panda with the final section of this way too long for this time video. I'll catch you again later with the unboxing and review of where I put it. I'm losing my mind. Unboxing and review of this guy, the Nokia Lumia. And, down there, we have that guy there, project. We're going to take the innards from this computer, the 4SX25, and put it in the original one we had, the SX33. So, this has been Zesty Panda saying, have a great day. And if you're watching this on Christmas, or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, Christmas, Halloween, whatever you celebrate, just have a nice day and continue to watch my videos. So yeah. Oh, I also forgot. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up, share, all that fun stuff. Have a nice day.